Welcome to Now Hear This. I'm your host, Chris Spangle. Now Hear This is a conversation with leaders in Indianapolis that are working to improve the lives of Hoosiers. Our goal is to empower you to join in their work and make a difference while informing you about the unseen aspects of life in Indiana. If you miss an episode, you can listen via podcast at nowhearthisindy.com. Today, my guest is Mike Hanlon. He is the executive director of the USO here in Indiana, and their website is indiana.uso.org. Mike, my full knowledge of the USO comes from Bob Hope and the 1940s movies with World War II. So first, thank you for being here, and secondly, conceptions. What does the USO do? Tell us a little bit about your organization beyond what the Bob Hope perception might be.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for having me on today to share a little bit more about the USO and the good work that we're doing here in the state of Indiana. So a little bit about it's pretty common, this perception. People hear about the USO and they're most familiar with Bob Hope and the entertainment that programs that we're providing. But indeed, we're much bigger than that. The USO has been around for going on 80 years now. And the USO stands for United Service Organizations. And our mission is to strengthen America's service members by keeping them connected to family, home, and country throughout their service to the nation. And from the moment a person joins the military, throughout their assignments, deployments, transitions, and everything in between, the USO is really their support system for our military and their families. Here in Indiana, we have 5 hospitality centers that we provide support for our service members throughout the state. Many of our service members and their families are accustomed to seeing USO signs when they travel. We have one at the Indianapolis airport, and our largest center is at Camp Atterbury. On a regular year, this is a little bit of a strange year with all that's going on with COVID right now, but generally we would support and have about 80,000 service members go through that center down at Camp Atterbury, which acts as a home away from home, as service members are down there training and going through their rotations down there from all around the country. And that's one way that we're providing support. And those locations, that's one way that we're providing support locally. We have 250 locations around the world. So what we're doing here in Indiana is really taking place all around the world.
So when I walk into one of these centers and it's, describe home away from home, what happens there? What takes place? How does it nourish and serve the soldiers that walk in the door?
Absolutely. So so USO centers provide the hospitality that service members really rely on as to keep the morale up and to get some much needed R&R during their time in the service. There's everything from cots and recliners, Xboxes, and televisions, game consoles, where service members can grab a food and snack, and sometimes just so simple as putting their feet up in a comfy recliner and getting some R&R as they're reclining and waiting for a flight.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's not just in the airport. It's centers on bases. Is the waiting room at the airport different than where they're at on the bases? I know as my friends went through the military. Maybe you can articulate a little bit about what the average experience it is for soldiers these days, because I was surprised when my high school friends went into the military. Oh, they live on base or they have apartments. It's not all in the casenet huts that my grandfather was in San Diego during basic. So how does the USO serve soldiers on a base like Atterbury versus, the room at the airport?
It is. That's an excellent question and great point that you're bringing up. It is what the experience is quite a bit different at the airport than, as you can imagine, on base. And that's not only true here in Indiana, but throughout the Midwest and throughout the world as well. So as you can imagine, when service members are at our airport center, we'll typically see a lot more families who might be traveling with service members, or who might be waiting for service members to return from flights. Right now, it happens that we are actually seeing many service members who are coming from who are new recruits and going out to and who are traveling through the airport center as they're going out on their mobilizations. Whereas at Camp Atterbury, many service members are doing training drills and so forth. So the experience there for our service members right now, with the support we're providing for COVID, you may have heard just recently, approximately 1,500 National Guard were activated to support long-term care facilities throughout the state. So we're providing some of the R&R and some when service members are doing that training and getting ready for their mobilizations down at Camp Atterbury.
Yeah, one of the success stories, and you correct me if this perception is wrong, but is that the military has done a good job of navigating the pandemic and keeping their employees and their soldiers and everyone in the military service safe. Is that true? I mean, how hard hit has the military been by the COVID pandemic? And then how has that changed what you do?
It's certainly been a very interesting time, and we're here in Indiana. We're a very National Guard heavy state in terms of the support that we're providing. So the National Guard has been, and I'm sure you follow the news quite closely, the National Guard has really been leaned on very, very heavily to support COVID. And for that reason, here in Indiana, just to give you a couple of examples, I already mentioned the long-term care facilities and the mobilizations that's happening right now, but they're also supporting everything from local food banks. They're providing support on logistics and operations, and even providing some support at penitentiaries throughout the state. So really all across the state, our guardsmen are being asked to do more. And where the USO is providing support is not only through our center operations as they're getting ready to mobilize, so they can stop in, grab a soda, play some Xbox when they have some downtime, but also through our mobile outreach. So when they're on these mobilizations right now at the food banks, we're providing some snacks, food and beverage, even the occasional meal through Mission Barbecue and some of our other partners, so that they can have some much needed relief and some good food as they're on these mobilizations throughout the state on the front line supporting COVID operations.
So where are you part of the Defense Department? Are you funded by the government or are you a private organization?
We are not, and that is a very common misperception that we are part of the Defense Department, but we are actually a separate. We are a private nonprofit organization. So we're funded by private donations and the good work of volunteers. In fact, here in the state of Indiana, we have almost 500 volunteers that help man our centers. So at the airport, Camp Atterbury, Fort Wayne, all throughout the state, we've got a very dedicated core of volunteers that advance the USO mission and provide that home away from home and USO hospitality to our service members, whether it's on the road and or at one of our centers. And that volunteer support is very, very important to us. It certainly keeps our, we could not deliver on our mission without that volunteer support, but also our funding partners are invaluable. And because we are not part of we are not a government agency, we rely heavily on private donations through corporate partners, private donations, and then individuals as well to fund our mission.
If someone wants to volunteer or help fund those missions, how can they do that?
Go to indiana.uso.org and would love to have someone get involved. We're always looking for great volunteers and ways to engage corporations and get more people involved.
Very good. Mike Hanlon, USO Executive Director here in Indiana. How much do you travel and see the operations? I mean, you're the Executive Director of Indiana, so I imagine you travel a lot around the state. But are you called on to go to places like Afghanistan and participate in some service over there?
That is not something I've had the opportunity to do before, although that would be quite an honor and a privilege. It's really just an honor to be to work here in the state of Indiana for our Hoosier service members and their families. But that's certainly something, if given the opportunity, I would certainly take advantage of it.
So I guess I should ask, what about the entertainment part that everybody thinks about? I mean, do you organize a lot here in Indiana in terms of entertainment? I work for the Bob and Tom Show, and I see a lot of comedians doing USO stuff. Tell us how that piece of the operation works.
Absolutely. So we actually have a whole entertainment department. I believe the USO has a global entertainment department, which is part of our programs team. And that came out of the going all the way back to the Bob Hope days. I think entertainment was really identified as one of the core part of the DNA of the USO. So one of the main missions of the USO is provide the entertainment and hospitality for our service members. They do that through providing tours overseas. Interestingly, a lot is going on right now with the in the gaming area. But you periodically you'll see the Colts going over on tours to the Middle East and so forth. So, but that is all organized through through our entertainment department and the team that coordinates those tours.
So very quickly, because we're running out of time, what is the one thing that you see every day that you wish everybody understood?
The one thing that certainly in my experience with the USO is just the unbelievable dedication of our servicemen and women and their families that they make over and over and over again. And it's just humbling to have a small role in the organization that is the force behind the forces.
Well, thank you for what you do. And Mike Hanlon, we appreciate you joining us. He's Executive Director in Indiana for the USO, and their website is indiana.uso.org. Mike, thank you so much for joining me.
Chris, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Now Hear This. I am your host, Chris Spangle. If you missed any portion of our program, you can listen on our website at nowhearthisindy.com. If you'd like to have your organization featured on the show, please email Gabby at nowhearthisindy@iheartmedia.com. Thanks for listening, and we will be back again next weekend with Now Hear This. Our goal at the Chris Spangle Show is to help you sound smarter while talking with your friends. If you struggle to understand politics, we explain it from an independent, libertarian perspective with all of the irreverence modern politics deserves. We toss out the screaming heads and put people before political parties and give context to the news to make you think. I'm the host. I'm a 15-year veteran of politics and media, and this show is published every Saturday. It's part of the We Are Libertarians network, and be sure to join Wall Plus for bonus podcasts, the complete archives, commercial-free shows, and more. Subscribe now at wearelibertarians.com.